I ain't gonna finish the rest of that. I don't have a guitar running. But anyways, what up, Schmoedown rockers? And I forgot my shades, but that's fine. I don't need them for this one. It's not daylight necessarily, and I'm gonna fix my angle here because I realized that wasn't a good choice. All right, we're gonna do the Sun Live bullshit. That's what's going on here, or has been for years. So, yes, if you can't tell, this is my actual bracket in color, because apparently I have one that isn't in color and hanging on my fridge. I'm gonna use this for future purposes, and as my opener until the team tournaments is done. So, just letting you know that ahead of time. Now, the first of the Schmoedown Entertainment Network era begins, as well as the team's tournament, as you can tell. And so far, at least as far as this past week's is concerned, my bracket is not busted. I don't think anybody's was, to be honest. And the matches we had starting was the Odd Couple versus Stupid Answers. I had Odd Couple down. I mean, I expected Stupid Answers at least to put up a fight. But really? Really? Also, lighting's different, so if it looks kind of meh compared to my usual, it's because the power of natural lighting that I have within my car through sunlight and stuff doesn't help and whatnot. So yeah, my angles with the bed. But anyway, doesn't matter. But anyway, back to that. We have that. I did have Odd Couple winning, which apparently didn't happen, but I don't think anybody expected it to be the slaughter that it was, to the extent where only Stupid Answers was never going to be able to answer the questions. I mean, Odd Couple made a statement. Heel move. That's the closest thing to a heel move Odd Couple has going for them, at least. Most Stupid Answers took it rather well, even though I don't expect them much of a team, though it will be hilarious in some messed up way if somehow the members of the Wild Berries and Only Stupid Answers got mixed together and became a team. Somehow. I don't know. That'd be interesting. I mean, that's not happened yet, though. The Wild Berries. I'm hoping not, because I had the audacity to put them there. Even though last time I did my mentally decided to do that when it came to Evil Geniuses, that disappointed me massively. Massively. Yet, the late to the party thing happened, so, and I was going to go with the family, but the late to the party thing happened, and I was like, okay, fine. So I'm expecting that portion of the bracket to be busted. However, since I don't have anything going from that portion of that bracket going very far, I'm not as worried about it. But anyways, the follow-up in that match was fine. It was fine. There was no. And then we have the Who's the Boss versus Inky the Brain. I like Silver Shroony. She's fellow Dungeon Head. And she's also a fellow member of Action Army. Sorry for the shakiness. That was my leg on what I'm using to hold this thing together. Yeah, I mean, it was better than what happened with that one, with the last match, but it was still kind of felt also one-sided, in a way. I expect to use the boss too, and if anything, I won't be as mad if it's Who's the Boss that busts my bracket. I will be mad if Crimson Fury does. Given that this is basically you're having Dungeons representation of the teams versus, once again, with dealing with corruption, or at least what is left of it at the moment, in terms of with Crimson Fury, and those are being members of that team. Tim the Tank Franco, I like you, dude, and I like your work you've done with Late to the Party. And yeah, your debut going up against Late to the Party, which I don't feel bad for them at this point. They didn't have that, like, I mean, glad they don't feel bad what happened with the other throwdown with the throwdown match with the Wild Berries, but hey, hell, even the Wild Berries needed the win for that one, especially because they needed something in trajectory to go into with the family, going into the family. So that's going to be interesting once I get to talking about those matches. I was hoping to talk about this before that happened. But anyways, I just and I do I understand anyone who, including the Cinna fanatics, who have just chosen to put them as the ones winning this tournament because they did it last season. And given what we've got teams-wise, they could very well do so. Though it's going to be interesting to see how they handle if they could very well do so. And basically, that the right side of the bracket is the part that I'm more worried about getting busted at this point in comparison to the second side, which is the side that's so far so good is still intact. I expect that, and I don't know how I'm gonna re-angle my bracket. I mean, it's not gonna matter because it'll be busted. But if Crimson Fury beats them in the round one, which will disappoint me massively, and I basically leaves me to really go all in with Smets. Not that I haven't before, though I have been disappointed with that when it came to him and Kalinowski. But that's mostly on him, not on what happened with him, his own mental situation with that, as opposed to... And I knew the moment that happened, it was kind of over because there's no... Even Kalinowski's momentum by that point was... I was like, please miss, please miss. It doesn't sound like he's missing. Oh, God. I'm sorry I had flashbacks. I just... Yeah, seriously, don't let me down, Smets. But... Anyways, I'll live with it if they make it to round two, and if they somehow lose to Who's the Boss, or if somehow they wind up losing to... Though by that point, I'll probably be mad if... Though I would be pleasantly surprised if at least... If Paddington 2 pulls the victory. I don't know with the Evil Geniuses one. I hope that one goes over well for Paddington 2. Maybe we get a taste of what we're going to get from the new guy, but whose name escapes me at this point, but I'm not sure it's going to matter because... And plus they're facing Paddington 2, and Paddington 2 were neck and neck when it came with Time Machine, and they still are a pretty solid team. And I don't want to see that team go away anytime that soon, at least. And I still hope that team sticks around as well. We have yet to see them grow to that full potential that they should have as a team. It's gonna suck it's gonna suck, I guess, if we don't with Wild Bears losing, I guess, because they will be missed if that is the case. But as far as the whole thing, I don't blame... The way that it went about between the two of them was super awkward. I don't know if that was planned or intended at all. If Rachel was really just that pissed, or if that was... Then that just shows something on you as an actress, girl. Or an actor, whichever you prefer, with the way the world works today. At least at this time of this recording, and upload, my guess as well, because it'll be the next day by the time this is done. So, who's I was, like I said, I was expecting Who's the Boss, but I was hoping for Iggy Brain put up a fight, and it seemed like they did, but I didn't understand why they let Who's the Boss continue answering questions. They were already so far ahead. I mean, it was kind of the same thing as the Odd Couple situation. I'm like, seriously? Seriously. They're already so far ahead. Don't even let them finish answering their two questions. It's done. You're just making it painful to watch. Just stop, for fuck's sake. And I slightly now understand how people feel about the whole Mara Rachel thing, even though in terms of that, but I found it tense for different reasons, but because it was just that down to the wire. Whereas this was just, this is a massacre. This isn't fun. That's what happened with the Odd Couple thing. I'm just glad it wasn't as bad of a massacre, but it's like, even Riley saying what he said, but at the same time, they did pull a more, the characters supposed to be faces are pulling heelish moves. And all of a sudden here, or at least going in a tweenerish direction, which isn't surprising with Bateman, slightly more so with Riley, but then again, we've seen him have heelish tendencies, especially with how he handled dealing with Roca, but that was just understandable at that point. And I love that eventually finally led to, what it did with that matchup, which was fun. But anyway, so far, whoever it is going to, of course, face the founding fathers of Dangerous Dan Murrell, and current tag team champs of Dangerous Dan Murrell and John the Outlaw Roca. It's going to be fun, which good for them, but they need to learn to defend a belt, and that's something they need. Though would I prefer Loose Cannons to win? I mean, mostly the tournament. And would I like them to make it to winning a belt? Yes. But if I don't, I can somewhat with them. I can live with the Smiths thing. I won't be able to. But anyway, I'm not sure I will be able to. And with the way the draft's going, it's gonna break my heart even more. I'll still watch, but I'll feel a sense of reluctancy to do so when I didn't have to in the first place. But that's just me on that. I'm still going to enjoy it because there's still will be good content. I believe it will be. I just hope it doesn't get to the point of becoming so damn confusing, even to people who are new to this. So when that draft happens, and I'm missing the fact of getting to talk about Time Machine versus Scream Queens. Most people at this point have picked Time Machine anyway because Scream Queens haven't done it. And I feel bad for Haley Fouch, too. Heck, at this point, given where things have been going and what the draft's going to do, I'm okay with an idea of Silverstreeny and Haley Fouch being a team. They will complement each other very well, I'd say, and become a much stronger team in the process. Plus, it also will matter if they have a good manager to help them out, or at least be able to focus on helping them out, given that they'll have to deal with, 8 other particular players and /4 other teams, essentially, within one faction that we're somehow deciding to call a team, even though that just confuses the whole teams division. I think they need to iron that out completely, or they're going to have to wind up changing the name of the teams division to something else. She should have said groups, because groups makes more sense than just teams, and they're just using it in football terms when he's bringing in that because of the whole. Well, because I know he deals with him and Mark. I know Mark had a say in that too, doing it that way too, because of how much he's into NFL and those kind of things. Those actual sports. This is like some ESPN 8, the Ocho, whatever that was in dodgeball. But yes, I'm hoping I wasn't sure with how. Going back to the Who's the Boss and Inky and the Brain thing, I wasn't sure with how they did Inky and the Brain, and it's like, what was it I supposed to make of how that was handled, aside from Rachel's side of things? Devon, it's like, really, dude, it's hard to get behind you. I know they're trying to make it seem like she's being more heelish, but she's kind of not wrong, but according to Frank Janis and his stats, they're not too far off from each other, and they complement each other better. Hey, I feel like I'm hearing an echo for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, then it came to time, and of course, once again, going to Time Machine Scream Queens. It was, it kind of seemed for the most part that, yeah, I was expecting it with Time Machine, but I was hoping Scream Queens would at least in comparison to what we got from Inky and the Brain, and definitely Stupid Answers, in their matches. I was expecting more of a fight. I mean, yeah, I think the Brain definitely did better, and it seems Scream Queens had, but as well, to the point where they at least were able to force Time Machine to answer their two, which they did, and he won the match. I was hoping for something else with a certain other match I did see, and I don't want to get into just yet. But that's kind of what's been going on. I think there was a couple little thing. I think there was like one for like the Who's the Boss match that was a cutscene that was kind of funny. Though there's another cutscene I want to talk about more involving a certain match that came out earlier, at least for Patreon, that I want to talk about, but I can't yet. And eventually I'll do so. And for the record, I feel like I'll just update and let you guys know, and you'll see it already by the time you see the thumbnail. Anyway, I'm going to do let's journey into the tournament. So I'm just going to make up a blank screen bracket, okay, of the tournament bracket, and just pretty much write in the names of those that have won. It may seem like spoilerish, but given the time frame, I am eventually going to release the videos. More than by the time I decide to release the videos, more than likely it's not going to be that much of a real spoiler, because the 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours spoiler thing will be off by that point. So, and yeah, that was a fun match. I mean, I'm hoping Time Machine goes over well. It's a shame Jay wasn't able to be there for that to do his managing thing, which sucks, but I mean, and Dagnino was doing his thing, and yeah, those were some fun things. And I wish I could put it as my thumbnail, but I'll put it as an alternate, and just to mess with people, just to kind of say something as a slight captionist thing. But yeah, I found it kind of like the whole thing with the movie release dates question that Jen threw at Ben. It's like, yeah, I just felt like taking a dump. I was like, what the and when did you get Dagnino to laugh about that? I don't. If you're able to get freaking Dagnino, not so much Riley. Riley, it was obvious. It's not so obvious he gets into that more, but to actually see Dagnino like kind of crack a bit instead of just kind of crack a little bit from that was kind of also not surprising. Given was funny. Was what made it a lot funnier, because you don't see him break out of his usual shtick, but you do here, and it was just funny, and I enjoyed that the most. I think of the highlights was that post interview for me, for the most part. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a long day, especially since by this point it was bad weather. But anyways. Those are 3 matches, and we got another 3 coming in. And I think it's going to be a consistent thing from here on out up until Spectacular, and probably going into the... I'm looking at my bracket here, sorry. So, as far as I'm concerned, the next match I know of should be Family and Wildberries. I have Wildberries, but I don't have them going far after round 2 and Paddington 2. I mean, I do hope... I mean, I have Shazam Movie Guys. I'm not going to... I mean, I'll be slightly, but not really all that bummed if Movie Guys pull it off. But if they do, that would just mean Odd Couple will get it. But I don't see that happening. And it just is going to make Odd Couple and Shazam a more interesting... It just comes off as a more interesting match anyway. And a very tight-knit match, though. It's not like Movie Guys couldn't pull it off. As long as... If Paul Preston has the momentum he mostly had coming from the singles tournament going into this, he might have a shot. But we'll see. I do have Looney Bin and Self-Right, with Looney Bin beating Self-Righteous Brothers, because they're much fresher, and the last time Self-Righteous Brothers was even involved in a match, it was literally last year up against Take the Cannoli, which was the team of Drew McWeeny and Brian Chandler, which I would love to see a comeback in, depending on how things go with the family at this point. But yeah. But since I don't have them going too far, I'm not as Wildberries going too far, I'm not as worried. It's just a matter of whether or not they beat Paddington 2, or if they beat like Loose Cannons, then I'll be mad. a little mad, but well, I won't be as bitter, I guess, about it. You know, as I would be if they lost in round 1, because then it just makes my bracket null and void, and it just makes your first time finally having a bracket out, you know, for this just being pointless, well, because you chose to rest on your laurels with those cannons, and they have, it's not like you can't, like, think they don't have a shot. I think they do, still. And I think if they beat Who's the Boss, they can prove that. But I understand the people that don't believe that, but not enough to let me go against my laurels and have Kaiser go on my ass about it. So, but yeah, I think, that was my bracket, as you can see, and I'm hoping for, at the very least, and I do have, I do believe of the matches here, I think that Shazam will be a tighter match. I was thinking I originally was going to have Lunabins go further, but, you know, I didn't remember what was in the brackets, and upon seeing them, like, okay, maybe I didn't. So I apologize to you, Grant. If I didn't have you going any further, it's just, it's more, but you know, record. If you want to prove me wrong, same with, like, of the teams, I wouldn't mind proving me wrong at this point. At least as far as round 1s are concerned, I wouldn't mind movie guys. I wouldn't mind. I guess I can live with the family situation. I wouldn't have minded Inky in the Brain, I guess, but, you know, I wasn't expecting it at this point. And I feel bad for them, because that team just basically became essentially whatever team Perry was on, Memeroff was on. Yeah, that team, that's name escapes me. If you want to let me know what it is in the comments below, I'll appreciate that. But that's what I'm thinking with this team's tournament right now. I already gave a little bit of my predictions from the last video. Check that one out, I guess, for following up into going into what we were going to get from going into Spectacular. And at this point, it's just figuring out what's going on with the team's belt. And that's kind of all we've got going on for us right now, is this tournament for that. And being the first thing that happened since Sin started, and now we use 3 matches at a time. I guess some of these matches, I don't know how it's going to go, though, because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, yeah. So even if we do 3 matches, how are they going to... I guess then they'll have to start round 2s on Friday, I'm guessing. So, hopefully by the round 2 match that they show isn't going to be a massive spoiler. Now, I mean, because we're on 1, 2, 3, and there's like rows of 8, so I don't know how they're going to get through, I mean, finish it up before Spectacular. I mean, they could, I guess, with the 3 matches. They could, but it'll just... But I think we'll have like 2, for 1 week, we'll have 2 round 1 matches and 1 round 2. And then I'm going to get confused by that point, because I can't keep up with my numbers. I ain't as good as Frank Janice about it. And yeah, speaking of that, with the whole Inky the Brain situation, she was kind of carrying, I guess, but I didn't feel like she carried much when it came to this match. I felt like Devon had seemed to me, the way it was coming across, like he wound up having more answers, at least with the round 1. Round 2, I admit that with the round 2, yeah, he should have. He should have stuck with it and not spun it. Hell, in fact, Rachel should have been the one up on there, and not him taking care of things with the wheel. But, I mean, especially with the way he handled that wheel, it was just so piss poorly spinning it, you know, when that wheel's tough enough to take whatever you need to. Or at least it's supposed to. But anyways, that's all I got, I guess, for now. Time Machine advancing, I mean, pretty much in the respective 3 matches, we got Odd Couple, Time Machine, and Odd Couple, Who's the Boss, and Time Machine advancing in the respective brackets. So far, those haven't been busted. I do have at least Time Machine amongst those three going pretty far. Pretty far, though Shazam I do have going into the finals. But I'm not as worried about that since I don't have that side of the bracket winning it as much as it is the right side, which seems to be the one that's I'm more worried about getting busted and more likely could happen as opposed to the other side bracket. But we'll see what happens. Overall, I do like the movie, guys. I appreciate Preston and all them who've subscribed to the channel. I don't get it. It's hard to keep up on. And I haven't seen them like doing as much on the channel, but I think it's also because, Preston himself is kind of busy trying to, help out his wife Karen out, I don't know if I just butchered the name, I'm sorry. I'm hoping I got it right. Karen Volk. Or at least that's how it goes on the Facebook page. But, yeah, and eventually I plan on donating to that. I didn't get a chance to when it was on Facebook, and I was going to. Now I just got to go to the GoFundMe page, which I'm hoping is still there. And it seems she's kind of dealing with it a little more in the thick of it now, which sucks. I mean, it's cancer, but it's a pancreas, so of all things, just being able to have a hard time dealing with the shits or something. I couldn't deal with that either. I'd think it'd be more bothersome for me if somehow I got an ear thing or something that doesn't, or something where I can't use my hands to make music or something. So just shout out and just shout out to Paul on that. So I mean, if he's the one I wouldn't mind if he busted the bracket and did beat Shazam. That wouldn't bother me as much for those specific reasons, I guess. Even though I do like them, it's just the same that Barbara Burnett made this bracket the way it is. So, and even though I think you could have thought only Stupid Answers instead, but then again, I don't. Yeah, that would have made the Odd Couple Shazam match even more interesting. Jeez, oof. If it was in round one. But anyway, what did you guys think of your turn? Are your brackets busted yet? Or are they still, intact for now until this second week of the tournament? Leave a comment below. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of these. Rock that like button if you like this video. Thrust if you must. And also hit the subscribe button. Click the notification bell if you want to see more on me, as well as the fact that I have a link in the description for my Facebook page. Like and follow me there. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown and Schmoedown rocks is cooking.